If you get a ton of emails, you could be getting a digest in the morning created by AI of all the emails you got that morning. This is an example of one I built that reads a dozen newsletters every morning on my industry and gives me a brief on the biggest stories of what's going on. Then I poured it straight into Slack. So if I find an interesting story, let's say it's this one right here, I can tag my boss and say, hey, did you know that this happened? Check it out. Let's talk about it. Let me show you how to make this or any other kind of email-driven workflow. Google is full of blog spam these days, and Substacks and newsletters are much better sources of information if you can find good ones that are trusted and authoritative. But if you're like me, you end up with a ton of subscriptions to all these newsletters and you don't have time to read all of them. So I'm going to show you a quick AI-assisted workflow that will help you make sense of all the noise. What you're seeing here is my inbox with all the things labeled newsletter. Each of these are like 10,000 words long. I get 10 to 20 per day. Who has the time? What we're going to do is use AI, specifically Claude, to help me write a Google Apps script. Now, importantly, I don't know how to code. It's writing code for me and telling me how to run it. So if you're scared by code, don't be. This is easy. You can do it. If I can do it, you certainly can. So what happens here is that you go into wherever you're prompting AI and you basically give it this prompt, and I'll share it later, but basically you're saying, build me a Google Apps script, export everything that has a newsletter tab, put it into this Google Sheet. So once you have the script, what you'll want to do is open a fresh Google Sheet. This one has been running for a while, so I'm pulling all of the emails in. You can see that it has all of the full contents of the entirety of the newsletter. These things can get quite long. But you'll want a fresh one, and what you'll do is you'll open up extensions and then app script. In app script, you paste your script here. You're going to hit run. You'll run a few permissions that you have to authorize, and you can also set up triggers to make them happen on a hourly basis, for example. AI can give you instructions on how to do all of this. That's my favorite thing, is like, how do I use Google Apps Script? This will give you step-by-step instructions. And then what you can do is you build an app in the LVEX dashboard or however you're interacting with AI. You're going to want to connect this to your Google Sheet, so make sure you're using a platform that connects to Google Workspace. You have basic rules here. You ask it to do data analysis. You ask it to look at dates in a certain format, but it's pretty straightforward. And then you can start asking questions like, what is the news today? So here we have all the information. It's easily connected to Slack, and this is just one example of things you can do with Google Apps Script. Once you start scripting things, you'll never stop. It's super powerful.